If 2024 was a year that you have survived, then 2025 has to be a comeback year for you. Welcome to episode 5 of Being Imperfect podcast. I am Shrestha, your host, and here I'll be talking about everything self growth, personal development, wellness, and de influencing, high achieving mindset, hustle culture. And we are going to build a safe space. Here we value self compassion over everything. So, this is my journey to become more imperfect and taking you along the ride. So, welcome. And today we're going to talk about how we can get our spark back. I'm not gonna lie, 2024 was a year of challenges and a lot of learnings. So I'm gonna consider 2024 as a year of cleansing. And now this is might not be an unpopular opinion because I have spoken to so many people and everyone almost feels like 2025 is their comeback year. I think everyone is just exhausted. Everyone is exhausted by all the things that has happened in the past year that now they want to take things in their control and rise from the ashes. And now that they have seen everything, there is this unseen, untapped confidence within them that they cannot wait to tap into. They cannot wait to come back stronger because they are prepared. They've seen the worst and they're prepared for the worst and ready for the best. If things go south, they know if they survive 2024, they will survive 2025, but they're also ready for the best. They're also ready to take control. We are ready to take control. We are ready for the best. If you feel like in any way you lost your spark in 2024 or you lost your identity in 2024, here's your guide to reignite it, to get your spark back because 2025, as I said, my friends, is our comeback era. I think one of the first and the most common reasons I have to mention is burnout. The burnout is so common these days. It's like I am hearing it from everyone. Everyone is burning out. Everyone is burned out because of this fast paced life we are living. We don't have time for anything. And when we do, we are on our phones, mindlessly scrolling, not doing anything meaningful or mindful for our lives. I think mid 2024, I also faced burnout. And one of the reasons I pinpointed why I faced burnout was because of this survival mode I was in. I felt like I wasn't living and I was only surviving. Okay. Now, why was that happening? According to my understanding, was because of my job and my mindset, which was fully focused on what I want to achieve and how I'm going to achieve it. And just not living, just surviving, just going from a day to day, meal prepping, working out, going to bed early, isolating, not making time for my needs. I know working out is a need, feeding myself is a need. I am meeting my needs in a certain way, yet neglecting my core needs like rest, my need for connection. I was contributing little to no time to nurture my friendships, my relationships. I was constantly living in tomorrow or yesterday. I was not living in today. It was the approach. It was not what I was doing, but the approach towards it. I was going from a checklist to checklist. I was going from a to-do list to to-do list. Like wake up, work, gym, meal prep, sleep, which looks like an ideal life, but I was constantly in survival mode, trying not to have enough time to nurture my other needs. So burnout can be a real thing and can be a real reason why people may lose their spark. There are many reasons, many more reasons why you might have lost your spark. But even if I don't cover that in this video, doesn't mean they're not valid. Just need some care, attention, and nurturing from your side.
Also, one another reason I feel people lose their spark, and we tend to lose our spark, is by neglecting ourselves. Like we're waking up, we are feeding ourselves, we are going to work, and we are fulfilling our duties as an adult. But when it comes to intentionally actually spending time or like focusing on yourself, we kind of neglect it. And by this, I mean, when was the last time you did something which actually got you joy? When was the last time you focused on a hobby? When was the last time you spoke to that best friend? When was the last time you did that true? When was the last time you showed off or did that thing you always wanted to do? And that is what I mean by neglecting ourselves. So we tend to neglect ourselves and we tend to lose sight of who we actually are. And that sometimes causes loss of identity and loss of spark. So one of the main reasons I feel people lose their spark is they lose their identity. And that's what happened to me. I moved to India in August of 2024 and I have lived in London for about 2.5 years. And that was my identity. And the moment I moved back, it was a massive, massive change. I didn't give myself enough time to process that change. And there's so many reasons why people face a loss of identity. For me, it was moving from another country to this country. And I left my job, I left my house, I left my lifestyle, I left my friends, I left so many things behind. And I was just expecting me to be okay with it. That's not how things happen, right? You have to give yourself some time to process and adapt and healthily get out of it. Now that we have explored a few reasons why people may lose their spark, I want to dive deep into how you can get your spark back into 2025 and fucking enter your comeback era. I have divided into 3 steps. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to follow these steps in particular order. You can stay in any of these steps for as long as you want. There is no timeline to healing, guys, and there's no timeline to getting your spark back. It doesn't mean that you have to get your spark back in certain point of time. So if you are starting to work on getting your spark back in January 2025, does it mean you have to be all sparkly by February? It can take as much time as you want it to take or as much time as it takes. It doesn't have to be instant, okay? It's a process. It's one tiny spark at a time that you can get the whole fire back. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't push yourself. Don't be too time bound with this. Let it happen actually. Let it happen. All you can do is be a little compassionate for yourself, okay? And if you guys need, I'm holding your hand throughout this episode because it's going to be a little difficult, whatever I'm going to say. It's going to be a little emotional. It might trigger a few people, and it might be a little difficult to also envision yourself as your highest self when you're going through something difficult. So it's okay. Um, Sometimes you are stuck in step one for a long, long time, and it's okay. Sometimes you just get out of step one in like a couple of weeks, and it's okay to get. So moving on, let's go to step one. Step one is feel your feelings. This is the hardest pill to swallow. This is the hardest pill because everybody will tell you this, and still you wouldn't understand how are you supposed to feel this difficult feelings which you're feeling at the moment. And it's okay. But the moment you realize that you are losing your spark and you are losing yourself, do not, I am telling you this, do not pressure yourself to get back to normal straight away. Feel the feelings that you're feeling, process them, accept them, embrace them. Have you lost your spark? If you feel like you have lost your spark and you don't have that golden energy and more and is the gray, please embrace that gray. You have to accept that now the way you are right now, it's not at all similar or familiar to how you were in the past. And you cannot compare yourselves with others. Definitely not. When you're going through something, when you're having a tough time in your life, I want you to stop comparing yourself with yourself as well. You cannot rush yourself into healing. You cannot rush yourself or pressure yourself to feel better when you're going through something, and you have to feel that feelings. I am sorry, you have to. Okay, nothing happens overnight, guys. And if you don't do this step properly, if you don't accept or realize or reflect on what's actually happening and why are you feeling the way you're feeling, how will you go back stronger? How will you know what to work on? Okay, so don't bullshit me. Don't bullshit yourself. Sit down and feel how you're feeling, and don't compare yourself with the past selves. Okay, don't compare yourself with any fucking bunny. You are not what you were yesterday. Today you are you, and you are going through something. So be fucking kind on yourself. Don't fucking look at people on social media who are telling you to get back up. It's all in your head. Come on. No, it's okay. Go back to sleep if that's what it takes for you to feel better. You are in charge of your life. You are in control of your life. You decide what you want to do. It's okay if all you're doing is working, dragging yourself to work, and coming back home. So do not be hard on yourself. Be compassionate and still putting your hold. It's okay. Once you realize that something is going on, you are not fine, you don't feel like yourself lately. If you don't feel like doing it, don't do it. But whenever you're ready, I want you to sit down, open your journal, and reflect. Whenever you're ready, there is no one size fits all. There is no blueprint here. You are going to do things at your pace. If no one has told you that, it's okay to feel like this. Everybody goes through it. But we are going to come out of it stronger. And for us to come out of it stronger, we have to fucking feel the feelings. Definitely talk about it. Do not fucking isolate yourself in this situation. I'm telling you, do not lock yourself in a room. Call your friend. Seek out. Go out. And it's okay. Just go out. And then when you're ready, open your book, open your journey. Write down what exactly are you feeling, in what areas of your life you're feeling like you have lost listen or lost your identity, or you feel like a user or whatever. In what ways do you feel like life is slipping through your hands? Reflect, just write. And then also write what are the things that will make you feel happy. When you feel like you're ready to connect or reconnect with yourself, I would say the first thing you can incorporate in your life is to have a 5 to 10 minutes journal session every. And then stay connected to yourself. I am asking you to feel your feelings, or I'm also asking you to not to lose your bells during this. People just numb themselves so much when they go through a lot. And I'm not saying to not do that. Whatever works for you, works for you. We all are just trying to survive at the end of the day, and you're trying to survive this hard time, whatever you're having. But please don't lose touch with yourself. Please don't lose touch with your identity. So funny and ironic that the reason why you're feeling like this is the loss of identity, but whatever bits and pieces of identity you have remaining, don't use. Have some core values which you can fall back to. Keep telling yourself that this is a phase and you will be better, and it's okay. Remind yourself of all the times when you have survived, because I'm sure that this is not the first time you're feeling like this. There have been times when you felt like it and you came out of it. There's been times when you got your heart broken. There's been times when you didn't know what to do with your career. Multiple times, I guess. You survived that. You can survive this too. It's just a hard time. Do not forget to make yourself happy a little bit. Step one, we have felt our feelings. We have processed our emotions. We have reflected. We have embraced and accepted the gray. Now, you know, step two, it's time to fall in love with your life again. Do things which make you happy. Okay, happiness is a choice. There's so many things in your life that can make you happy, that will make you happy. I would say make a joy list. Have you heard of this concept of dopamine menu? Dopamine menu is basically from this book, How to ADHD by Jessica McBee. So it's like basically starters are like quick things which will make you happy. Then there's like main course. Main course are like extensive long things like go on a solo trip, take a solo date. Starters can be something like have a cup of tea, a coffee. For me, coffee is my pick me up. I have a cup of coffee. I am good. But then there is dessert. Dessert is something like you wouldn't have on a daily basis. It's like your fancy little treat. Or look it up. My words are failing me at the moment. But look it up. Write down things which makes you happy. And then try to incorporate them in your daily life in some or the other way. Plan a few things monthly, like book a class every month and then look forward to it. Now that you have now that you have stayed connected with yourself for such a long period of time, it's time to reconnect with yourself. Spend a lot of quality time with yourself again. Go on solo dates. Take yourself out on or for activities which will bring you joy. If you have a friend with yourself who will do these things with you, good. If you don't, go alone. Going alone is the best thing. You will learn so much about yourself. You will learn your fears. You will learn what makes you happy. You will learn how you navigate through the world when there is no one around you. You can build confidence. You will learn how you show up in the world. You discover so many things about yourself which you haven't noticed otherwise. So, going on solo trips, solo dates, etc. is a great way of reconnecting with yourself. And I took a solo trip to Karnataka this New Year's Eve, and I'm telling you, it helped me seeing me for who I am. I realized that I am me for me. I spoke and met with so many people, which made me realize my people skills, which made me rediscover my confidence. And I did all of that on my own. Remind yourself that you don't need anybody. You yourself are very self sufficient. And if put in the world, you can thrive and survive. So I think going out on your own is a very good way to connect with yourself. Again, do not underestimate the power of spending time with people and your loved ones and family. One of the best things that has happened to me throughout this whole chaos of me using my identity and me moving from London to India is that I get to live with my family and I am reconnecting with my childhood friends, which also makes you feel belonged in some way. So I think that's the best thing that has happened to me. No matter what, I wake up and my mother loves me for who I am. That's enough validation for me to find myself again and, relight my spark, etc. So please do not underestimate the power of family, the power of loved ones. Family and loved ones may look different to you. It doesn't have to be this. Even when I was living abroad, my friends or my anger, they kept me believing in myself. Love is selfless and I deserve love. I'm worthy of things. You know, in ways, people who love you can bring you up. I'm sure you do. So, call that friend, reconnect with your family, make that phone call, show up to that coffee date, which you have been planning with your friend for ages. Just spend time with your loved ones and how it enters into your life and how it changes the way you feel about yourself and others. And I have a dog. I haven't lived with him for past 3 years. And when I moved back to my parents' place, I think that's the best thing that has happened to me. First thing I do after waking up is that I go Jerry and I pick him up. So I think that's something I look forward to. He jumps over me and everything, and that's such a precious feeling. So love is within you. You are the love. Do not forget that also. Do not forget to see the love the world has to offer to you. Yeah. Don't forget the power of family and connection. We strive in social connections. We develop and grow in social settings. We are mammals. Another way to fall in love with your life again is to find the magic in the mundane, no matter what it is. Even if it's like sipping a cup of tea, make it a whole routine. I love having tea, okay? And my mom also loves having tea. So my morning tea routine is to sit with her, have tea, and gossip about everything under the sun. So before I start my work, I spend good 15 to 20 minutes with my mom over tea and we talk about everything. And that's our way of connecting with each other, catching up and talk about all the shit. And it's something so basic, but I really, really look forward to it every morning. So find joy in the little moments, romanticize your everyday activities. So it's not about the big moments or big magical things. Doesn't have to be a trip. It can be something as simple as you romanticizing your your cup of tea. And I think the last thing I would want to tell you is to redefine what success means to you. Like I said, you are not going to compare yourself with other people on the internet. You're not going to compare yourself with your friend, with your colleague, with your mom, with your dad. But you're also not going to compare yourself with yourself. Don't compare yourself with the past self. That is going to do totally no good to you, okay? And I want you to redefine what success means to you, because what success meant to you a month ago doesn't have to be the same right now. If success yesterday for you was having a great routine, which includes you working out in the morning, going to work, coming back, meal prepping, reading, sleeping for 8 hours, not looking at phone before bed, etc., etc. And if that was success for you a month ago, good. But right now, do you have the capacity to do all of that? Sometimes it's very important to ask yourself that question. And if you don't have the energy to even, get up and go to work, how can you expect yourself to do all of that? And maybe if right now, considering your circumstances, maybe going to work and eating 3 times a day and sleeping is your success. So falling asleep is still something I was struggling with. So that is what success will look like to me. If I fall asleep on time and get my 8 hours of sleep, it's okay to redefine success. It's okay if you don't want that promotion anymore. Don't base yourself on standards that you have set I don't know how long ago. Align yourself with what truly matters rather than what's impressive to the world. Okay. If you are going to work, managing not to get fired, sometimes that's just. And the final thing I want to tell before I move on to next step is to cultivate the habit of gratitude. Doesn't have to be much. You don't have to write on a piece of paper. I try intentionally to say 3 things I'm grateful for the day before I go to sleep. Doesn't have to be a lot. Every now and then, just look around. Just look around and realize that everything that you have today, most of the things that you have today were once things you used to pray for. For example, I used to hate that I was back in India and I didn't know what to do with my life, and I was like suffering from major borderline crisis and lost my identity. But I remember days where I will pray to be living with my family. So let's not take things which we already have abandoned, because there's always more we would want in our life. There's always something more. If you have X in your life, you'll always want Y, and have Y, you'll always want Z. So you can never completely be happy with what you have. But I think taking a moment and being grateful for how much life is already in your favor and help you shift your perspective a little bit. Okay? Now, step 3. It's time to get your power back, guys. You have felt your feelings. You cried, you sobbed, you embraced, you accepted. Then you started to reconnect with yourself and you started to find that love for your life back. And now there is this part which wants to be reignited back. Now, all you have to do is step into your power. Enough of people, situations controlling your life. It's your life and it's up to you to change it. If you're going to change the way you show up, and here are few simple tips I'm going to give you to get back your power and step into the best version of yourself, because the time is now. The time is not tomorrow. The time is now. It is your life. It's time to get it back. First, protect your energy. You have spent so much time feeling your feelings, processing your emotions, finding the love for your life, taking care of yourself. You took yourself on solo dates. You reflected, you journaled, you meditated, you worked out. And now it's time to protect your energy. You can't be going around giving your energy out to things and people that don't matter. It's time to cut out toxic people. Cut out toxic people in your life. If they hurt you, if they are toxic to you, if they're not serving you in any way, if they are taking away your peace, they do not belong in your life. No, it doesn't matter how nice their intentions they are. It doesn't matter if they only mean well. If they are causing drama in your life, bye. You're not taking that energy 2024. Energy is in 2024. Ask them, leave them behind, and not tolerating that shit in 2025. Okay. Next up, audit your social media. Now, I want you to remove all the people, follow all the accounts which not serve you anymore. If something that pops up in your feed and which is like disrupting your energy, giving you that feeling in your heart, unfollow. block, unfriend, bye bye. Next. We are not overcommitting in 2026. I know we all want to take up our back. I know we want to get the control back in our life, but we are not overcommitting. We are also prioritizing rest. We are also staying aligned with what we can actually do. I know we're excited, but we are not taking up that extra project your boss is trying to slide your way. Don't try to work out, meditate, journal, eat good, get a promotion, focus on your career, make six figures, also spend time with your family all at once. Don't put everything on your plate at once. We are reconnecting with our passions. Okay, we will reconnect our passions in way. We are going to make time for hobby. We are going to assess what areas of our life lacks passion and we want to work on it. What ignites spark? Something which you are passionate about. So work on things which you're passionate about. Have confidence is what we need. Nothing sparks or shines like confidence. And how are we gonna do that? We are gonna dress. We are gonna dress for confidence, dress with confidence. We are not going to show up anywhere in a pajama. We're not going to show up anywhere not looking our best fucking self. Smelling good. We're taking care of ourselves. We're taking care of our guts. We are showing up as our best selves into the world. Okay. We are not apologizing excessively. We are not saying sorry unless sorry belongs there. We all have a habit of overly apologizing. I have a habit of overly apologizing, even when I know it's not my fault and I shouldn't apologizing. So we are stopping excessive apologizing in 2025 because we are the villains. We do not apologize. We do not like give out sorries like it's chat. And this is my favorite tip, okay? Develop a skill that scares you. Think about that. Think about it. Think about something which scares you, which you feel like you cannot do it, which you think is like off limits, and you're just too scared to do it. For me, it's driving. Okay, do not judge me. I know how to drive. I've learned how to drive, but I didn't drive since past 3 years because I was in UK and all I used was public transport. I didn't own a car, nor did I have a UK driving license. And driving in Indian traffic is no joke, and I'm scared of it. But if I overcome that and grow that skill, I know it's going to help me in lot more ways than I can imagine. Pick a skill which you're scared to develop or which you're scared to grow on and do that. Surprise yourself. And then notice the amount of confidence you will get. I was scared of running. I was so embarrassed of how I would run. And I never ran on treadmill until last year. Like I was always that person who used to walk on treadmills and not run. And last year I started running. My body changed. The way I looked changed. My confidence was through the roof. So do something that scares you. I'm gonna learn master driving this year. And by the end of this year, you'll see me in a car. The last thing I want to talk about is mindset. Master your fucking mindset. Without the mindset, there is no power. Your mindset is your power. You cannot step into the power without controlling or mastering your fucking mindset. Set boundaries. Set boundaries without feeling guilty. Prioritize quality over quantity. Set boundaries. Do not let people walk over you. Don't let anything slide. If you're letting it slide right now, remember you're giving them the permission to treat you like that. If you don't like something, say it. Say it, because by not saying it, you are not creating a boundary. And by not creating a boundary, you are developing resentment towards other people. And then you're also giving them shit to treat you like that. Claim your narrative. You are the creator of your own story. This is your story. This is your life. You are going to build it the way you want. You are going to live it the way you want. You are not letting other people define that for you. If you want to switch off your phone, you want to switch off your phone. That's your decision. And you're going to live like that. I'm not letting anyone else tell you otherwise or make you feel guilty for doing that. Whatever makes you feel comfortable and confident, you're doing that. Because at the end of the day, this is your life. And this is the time to take your power back. And you are taking your power back by owning your narrative. You're not playing victim. You are the creator. You are the author. You are the owner. Lastly, I want to say stop seeking validation. It doesn't matter if your decision is the right decision. Whatever you choose for you is your choice and it's your. You don't need external validation. You don't need other people's approval. You don't need other people's validation to telling it's right or it's wrong. You are going to take complete ownership of what you have decided and what you want to do. You're not just not seeking validation on your appearance, on your decision, on your life, on how you should think. what you should dream, anything. We are not seeking external validation in 2025. If you need an external validation, let this be your external validation. You are worthy, you are capable, you are enough, you deserve it. Good things are meant for you. You deserve all the happiness, you deserve love, you are loved. And whatever you dream of, you're capable of achieving. There you go. This is your dose of external validation. Take it, and now just quit. Rewind it, play it again, but don't seek it from anybody else. Let my voice be your inner voice. And we are going to stop seeking external validation in 2025. You can do all of the steps right and still feel like something is wrong with you and still feel a little gray. Maybe life is not about being golden or always being sparkly. Sometimes the light is dim, sometimes the light is bright. You don't have to fit into a box. Make your own box. And ChatGPT gave me this amazing quote, which I want to read it for you. Life isn't about finding your spark, it's about creating it every day. So that's a very good note to end this episode on. Before I leave, I want to give you a small little exercise. Okay. This week, I want you to do something that you have never done before or revisit something that you used to love doing and try and notice the difference in your feelings and how you feel about yourself. This is a very powerful exercise and you can try to repeat it every week or you can do it every month. But do not forget to let me know what you did and how it made you feel. I'm on Instagram. I'm going to link all of my social media below. Please DM me if you like this or if you did that exercise. Please share it with a friend who has had a very rough 2024 and would love to get their spark back in 2025. Comment below if this was helpful in any way. And this was my first video episode ever on this podcast. And I hope you liked it. And I hope I get better with time. So, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, please take care. Bye. And see you.